the Pentecostals.
Oh, right.
So they strongly like encourage and like emphasize, and I'd say in a sense, like almost impose the importance of spiritual gifts, and like the absolute necessity of having, like, possessing spiritual gifts, and being baptized in the Holy Spirit. And that, like, water baptism isn't enough.
Okay.
So like I had never heard any of that stuff from my church growing up.
Right.
And then when I went to DCF, I heard all about this, and I was like,
right.
what the heck is this?
Right.
Like,
non-denominational groups tend to not talk about it. Yeah. Okay, you want me to explain how that works? Yeah. This, I'll show you a little picture to frame things. So there's actually 4 broad categories of belief, and it's kind of a continuum. Okay? There's on one side, so like no spiritual gifts, and then yes, yes to everything. These people are called cessationists.
Cessationists. What exactly does that word mean?
Spiritual gift stops, ceased.
Okay.
There's the next category. It doesn't really have a good name, so maybe I won't name it.
Okay.
And then there's the next category. Some people now call this the third wave category. That's a historical term. And then the last category, like Pentecostal. Okay? I'll call this like open but cautious.
Okay. Where do you think university lies on the spectrum?
Well, I'll tell you. Let me explain each one first, and how they work, and then I'll tell you where I think like general groups of people lie. So these people think that there's no gifts; they ceased, and it makes a lot of sense from that perspective. Like that there were miracles and things that happened at certain times. For example, and there are certain clusters in which they happen. For example, a lot of miracles happened when God created the earth, creation. A lot of miracles happened with Moses. That's another cluster of miracles. And a lot of nothing happened. And then Elijah and Elisha, these 2 prophets, did a lot of miracles. Then a lot of nothing happened. And then Jesus showed up. He did a lot of miracles. And then not too much happened, and apostles did stuff. The people followed Jesus. And then a lot of nothing happened again until Jesus returns. And there'll be another cluster of miracles. So kind of explain miracles happening in clusters, and we're in an era where no miracles happen. And that miracles were really just for Jesus, in our recent history. So that's what they say. These people say that, okay, we're open to the possibility. They could have ceased. They could still be happening. Open to it, but we're really cautious about it. So they kind of are in-betweener state. And this is kind of like almost not taking us. Practically, it means they act like these people. In fact, they're not praying for miracles necessarily, or various spiritual gifts that you were talking about. So practically, they act like these people, but they're more open. These people are... How do I explain this? These people in church history are more the people who, like, we believe miracles happen. Jesus did miracles. We might not do as many miracles as Jesus did when he was here, because we're not Jesus. But we're going to pray for things. We're open to tongues. We're open to whatever. And we practice it. So we're praying for those things. We act it out. We're open to prophecy, etc. These people open to everything, and sometimes can get to a point where it's imposed. And I don't know, necessarily, like, if the, fellowships you experienced, like, impose it, but some places do. And they're like, you must believe this, almost in order to be a believer. You have to be, like, baptized in the Spirit, stuff like that. And they get that because Jesus, for example, Jesus said things like, you're going to do greater things than I've done. He said that in the book of John.
Really?
Yeah.
He actually says, you'll do greater things
than me. Yeah. So, there we go. Do greater things than Jesus. You should be doing as many miracles as Jesus did or more.
What was the context for that, though?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's the argument. You know, other people might say that's taken out of context. And there's many other arguments for each one. I'm just giving you like the brief summary. The vast majority of evangelical churches are right here.
Evangelical churches, what is that? What does that term mean exactly?
Churches that are Jesus focused. So, probably the church you grew up in, Baptist churches, or most churches you experience are probably evangelical.
Okay.
A church that wouldn't fall in that category would be like the Catholic Church.
Okay, because they believe in murder.
They believe in, well, it's a separate category, but I'll just say we can answer that, but they're not in the evangelical category.
Okay.
So most churches are right here, and what that means, you probably never heard a sermon about it if you go to these churches, you never seen it, stuff like that. So your church is right there, probably.
Yeah.
Could be here too, but if you're here, you probably hear sermons of why there are no spiritual gifts anymore.
Yeah, it was
Does that make sense?
It wasn't condoned, neither was it like condemned.
Yeah. So you're right here.
Yeah.
You're right there. If you're in one of these churches, you would know it, because somebody from up front would say, "There's no spiritual gifts anymore."
Okay.